counter, like they can't counterpick the mid laner, but they also are leaving themselves a little bit open to the top, and once again just running rampant and getting so many assassinations, so many big kills. If he's able to snowball with his Kha'Zix, which is very, very possible with the help of Yu on that Alistar.
This
A lot of questions
basically
here.
saying KBG. This is basically KBG saying that, okay, once you tried the Kha'Zix, you didn't have the impact that we were scared on the potential of this champion. Let me, the Ton, show you how to use a Kha'Zix, because this guy is amazing on this champion as well. Now they still have avenues for Andran to actually pick up a possible ADC into the mid lane. Ezreal is still available, in which he has been very, very stable early in game number 1, unless JDG bans it out alongside with the Kai'Sa. This way, KBG, in the respect to Sunny's champion this time around, is still reigning supreme. Renekton, Jax, not being allowed by KPS Gaming. JDG removing the Camille is a wise choice, I would say, because if KG lock this champion up, you're done. You're done.
It's over. Basically, if they do. And yeah, they are not going to be coming out with that. It's going to be the Garen. That's KG is going to be picking. No Camille because of the ban, and yeah, no actual, what's it called? No actual counters yet coming in from the side of JDG. They do have a little bit of time to pick still.
Garen is stable.
Garen is very stable.
I'm assuming this is going to be on KG, because Andran only used this once. Didn't turn out well. It was a game loss too. And he's better on different champions. This go on aggressive champions, highly mechanically required champions. Gwen, though, is fascinating to see this time around, and looks like it's going to be the champion here of either once or Sunny. It depends on where they actually want to go. They can flex this up. I do prefer seeing the Wukong on the jungle, though, because Gwen can just survive against the Garen either way.
A little bit old school here for KBG's draft, though, because they're going to be putting Xiaoma on that Ziggs. He's a beast on that Ziggs, and Anran on that Corki this time. Good switch up, good mind games here from KBG. They do have the purple cockroach in the jungle for that Ton. So you really have to watch out for the Kha'Zix, because the Wukong can kind of match him a little bit, but it is still a little bit difficult for JDG to kind of match it if they're not able to, what's it called? If they're not able to track him efficiently and counter gank him as well.
JDG, I prefer this composition actually, compared to the early game lineup that we have seen in game number 1, in which they weren't able to fully utilize. Double scaling champions are better this time around, having double ADCs. Actually, a bit of a triple scaling, I would say, since Ashe does deal better damage into the late game, though she would be more of a utility champion. But Gwen will serve its purpose come late game, and I think that's going to be important if they want to actually match the energy of KBS Gaming, because they have a very standard composition. This is still very reminiscent of the patch 4.1 lineup that we normally see back in the day in the regular season. But it's still very viable, especially on the buffs that we have seen a little bit on the side of the Ziggs. Andalan's still very good on the Corki in the mid lane. And the Tom being the Kha'Zix is just pure KBG.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it is kind of a classic now for KBG. That's kind of composition. It's so very aggressive, though, you know, the scaling potential is there. And you do have the very reliable Ziggs. Yeah, it is the AD meta, but that doesn't mean that mage bot lanes aren't viable. It just means that there's a lot more diversity in the bot lane. And speaking of diversity, there's a little bit of a diverse clash going on here in the bot lane. It is going to be Doki coming out on the losing side of that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a problem with early game Alistar. Very little mana. Well, sorry, that's not the mana bar. That's his other bar thing. My bad.
HP.
No. The blue bar under his
Okay. Yeah. It's gonna be fine.
It's not rage.
Sunny and top lane are just gonna be farming up as well. Though
Oh,
KBG
wow.
needs to be extra careful this time around. That's almost 1/6 damage per minute. By
That's
Andra.
insane.
Yeah, because he's given the opportunity to just poke. Nobody's able to reach him at times, and most of the time we do even see him and Shama being in the front line because they're just that confident that no one's going to be able to take them down.
Yeah, and absolute confidence here from KBG is just very evident, man. Even though they are kind of given a little bit of a goal lead to JDG at the moment, that doesn't mean that later on they're going to be giving that away. So at this point, it is a little bit prudent to see that KBG has to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit more calculated in their calls at the moment. And yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a slower start here. But once that ton gets going, we can expect that Kha'Zix to absolutely start looking for every single pick, every single person that he can snipe away from their team.
JDG still has the combo. Has the Gwen, has the Ashe, has the Galio as well. They have the Wukong for additional C2 to lay it out, everything for Feibai. So they should have leverage a little bit in the fight, depending on how they're going to mix it up. Because KBG is so good at punishing. They have demonstrated that in game number 1 and a lot of times in the previous game.
Oh yeah? And a little bit of a flash there. Just, yep, proactivity from Deton. He is the one who is a lot more forward. Once, though, the one going to be going on KG, but he doesn't pop that Cyclone because he knows that this is almost a losing proposition, basically. And, yeah, just a little bit of touch and go there from both of these teams.
They should be fine. KBG just messing around here against JDG. And this is the luxury that they actually have right now on the side of JDG. They can afford not to be aggressive in the early game. They don't have that pressure anymore because they have late game scaling. Massive team fighting advantage as well, depending on how they set things up. And all they have to do is safely farm in the early game, wait for that 5 minutes, and maybe contest for the Dragon. Because again, Dragon wins you games, especially in this current patch. KBG this time around is the one that needs to set things up because they have the Kha'Zix here for the Dawn. If he doesn't get kills, again, we mentioned this a lot of times, a feast or famine champion. If you don't get any kills, you're not going to be able to have that, you know, impact, that much impact, or provide that fear to the enemy team as much as the state of the game.
Yeah, that's really what it all comes down to a lot of the time is you need to be able to intimidate your opponent. And right now the intimidation is going to be coming in the form of a dive as Yu almost bites the dust there. He does have his ult to minimize all the damage and the hero's entrance to save Sandy. But there's Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It will be hitting KG, but I don't think they want to engage on the full health Garen at the moment.
Gonna be fine. Just a slight banter between these two teams. A little bit of a blow onto each other. Doki will cancel that recall of KG. It's like RH is the way to go here unless Once is going to be starting to Dragon up here in the bot side river. He is there already, just taking his red side camp for the meantime. Don will go back to the base, I would think. First, still about 20 seconds left before the first objective spawning. They will have time to get their items. Quick recalls on the side of JDG. That will give them priority over the top and bot side river. Maybe they can set some vision up first.
That's a very good plan of action to set up that vision right before they need to go for it. But yeah, it is still very difficult to say whether or not JDG is going to be successful here. They are just going to be trading that off. Rift Herald for Drake. Looks like KBG really have huge priority on that Drake, and yeah, it is going to be that objective trade going the way of you know, the Herald going to JDG, KBG getting that Drake. Even though it's the Ice Drake, they still want to get that triple Drake start, or well, that triple Drake end, pretty much.
I actually thought that JDG would prioritize the Dragon first. Arrow dodge. Again, they have the mobility, especially the Corki. That's a luxury that they had come game number 1, because they had Corki and Ezreal. It's so difficult to land the arrows onto them. So Juju has to learn his lesson this time in game 2. Don't try to target the Corki, especially when he has the Valkyrie. Target Shama instead.
Yeah, that is a very good plan of action, because Shama is a lot less of a way to get in, to get out, sorry, of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. He has to basically satchel charge on reaction, and that takes a little bit more time, because he either has to do it in front of him and then bring himself backwards, or either that, or just kind of flash out, and that burns the summoner. So it's really, really good for JDG. But yeah, having somebody with Valkyrie and the package, that is not the target, man, my guy.
KBG having again avenues to farm is not a good sign not a good sign on the side of JDG. But they have the RH, maybe can bash this tier 1 tower up. Still need to damage it a little bit before they actually are going to be able to take it down. Good push there. And oh my god, that damage on Juju.
Yeah, but the tower stays. It stays alive here. No damage done to, well, there is a lot of damage done to it, but no tower take again, and that is a little bit unfortunate that they took that Rift Herald and just laid it down there, laid it all on the line, and didn't really get a lot to save for it. And yeah, so unfortunate, honestly. KBG, great
get
defense.
Taken down eventually by JDG, especially when KPS Gaming goes on the side lane. But again, it is still better value on the Dragon that we are seeing right now on the side of KPS Gaming. Arrow not yet being casted here by Juju. Every time we see a delay on the casting of this Enchanted Crystal Arrow, again, I start to wonder why they keep on picking this champion up, because we're not seeing the usual efficiency on this champion that we normally see. Now,
I miss Miramo. Hefeibai, though, he has to flash to get away from this. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, though, it will be catching out the Corki, and that is Anran 9 getting caught out of position. A very greedy dive from Datan, and yes, it is going to be a perfect 2-0 for JDG.
Yeah, perfect response by Ones, especially that arrow interrupting the engage there by Andran, and they managed to secure 2 kills. Now to accelerate this game, they can push mid lane as well through Juju. Top lane though, they need to be very careful.
Oh, yeah, that's just the danger of 1v1ing a Garen. He spins to win and then calls down a sword from the heavens. Demacia, he says, as Justice rains down, and this might actually be a turret for KBG as well.
Let's check that replay one more time, because again, Datan and Andran wanted to burst down Feibai, but that arrow basically prevented everything there, especially with the follow-up of one. Feibai survives with the Honey Fruit, and once he gets 2 kills, that is the best possible thing to happen for once. It might have been better to give the kill onto Feibai, but just having kills in general for JDG is so much better than them just playing things passively, because again, this is a team that performs better when they get some gold, since this is an Ashe comp.
I agree. It is the way to give them some heal first. But yeah, the Ashe composition is starting to pay off a little bit, but I can't really say that it's a huge lead for Jingdong Gaming, because KBG is still playing pretty forward. At the moment, they're still playing like they're not afraid of anything at all. So a very big statement here from Jingdong Gaming, honestly. And oh my god, that could have been a catch, but Yu turns it around, he pops his ultimate, he goes in, and he stuns Doki up. Now Doki has to get away too. KBG, though, they are fighting as 5, while JDG, they are a little bit separated. They're a little bit, they're just a little bit too backwards here. It is hard to call it right now, as this dragon will get, they'll peel off of the dragon. Yeah.
This time JDG has the opportunity to start this up, but they need to take note that the vision is still provided by KPS Gaming. MIP taking some damage. They're gonna be calling it off for the meantime.
Call it off they will. This is looking a little bit difficult. Juju. Oh god, already Juju has been caught. Yu has been caught out, sorry, as Juju just does so much damage. Sandy had to get away from there as well. No kills just yet, but it's looking like the health bars are a lot lower on JDG. They were able to get that Drake, but at the cost of their positioning, their tempo in this part of the game.
Yeah, that's a little bit odd on the side of JDG and KPS Game, but at least Dragon was actually taken down there by JDG, which is good. KBG responding in kind with a tower takedown in the bot lane. Now, as they were able to take most of the outer turrets, they only need to take mid lane for now to have access on the jungle camps here of JDG. And that's something that JDG needs to prevent at all costs. Because again, Keepers Gaming, when you give them even the slightest lead, they take it. They give them a ninja, they take a mile. That's the saying always on the side of Keepers Gaming. And a lot of these elite Chinese teams as well. Right now, we're seeing a good sign actually by JDG, since they're the ones who are a little bit ahead in terms of gold. They just need to amplify that. Make sure they get bored through Juju, through the arrow.
Oh, although Yuyu, he does bring Juju back out, and there's a big MIB, Mega Inferno Bomb, that does a lot of damage, but Yuyu was still the one who had to get out of there, but that Alistar ultimate just keeping him alive every single time. Can't get caught.
Fortunately, was able to stay alive. There was no one on the side of Keepers Gaming aside from Shama to be able to follow up on that initiation by Yuyu. So again, that's an avenue that they can just, you know, take at least for the meantime. Feibai doing a really good job on the side lanes as well, helping out Sani working on the side lanes as well. And if you give an opportunity to Azeri to farm up, this is a very difficult champion to actually chase, and KBG doesn't have that chase champion anymore. Game number 1, they had the Vi, they had the Jax, but this time the only person that can actually chase him down is maybe the Kazakhs, maybe the Alistar. But if you don't have that follow-up, you're not going to be able to take him down. Arrow on bot side, does it connect?
It does not, but that is going to be the turret. It was a zoning arrow. It did its job. It got them away from there, and we'll just say it was a zoning arrow. We'll say it was good zoning arrow, my guy.
They got the turret either way, which is good here again for JDG. Contention by KBG not being felt anymore here by JDG, especially whenever that headbutt pulverize of Yuyu doesn't connect. And they time it well, actually. JDG having more avenues to fight against KBG is again another positive sign that we're starting to see on their side. Keepers Gaming this time around are starting to feel a little bit of a pressure. They want to wait for an objective to spawn, but Baron isn't really something that JDG is interested as of the moment. Maybe they can draw attention to the distribution that they have laid out in top lane. Arrow though.
Oh, big arrow, and that could have been it, but Yuyu is going to stay safe, stay hungry right there. A big jump from JDG. I love how they're being proactive now, but they're still not getting the same results that they should be because KBG is just, well, they're being incredibly cagey. They're being so defensive at the moment, and yeah, it is just it just is a KBG show still, even if JDG is the one leading, because they can't get a positive engage right now on KBG. It's always Yuyu at the tip of the spear, and you can never catch him for long because he's just an Alistar. That's what he does.
I'm still gonna give it to JDG, honestly. This is a good time for them to at least take control of the positionings in the map. They have Yuyu though on bot side. Sani needs to be extra careful.
Yeah, because they have actually almost caught him there if you just committed a little bit more. Look at that damage he just took. He just ate so much. But KBG being very cautious. They don't want to overextend. They don't want to overcommit here.
They are giving a lot of respect towards KBG, which is good. They cannot afford to have one member get taken down, especially with the objective spawning up in the next few seconds. I mean, it spawned up already. JDG, they want to take it. KBG wants to contest. Again, whoever gets more dragons have more leverage in this game, especially that right now JDG wants to get the second one so that they have more sustain, they have more durability, especially that they have taken the first dragon as Mountain Dragon. It's going to be good for team fight.
And it is going to be a good first catch there. One's had to get away real quick, and he won't be able to actually stay in that fight. Mega Inferno Bomb, though, doing a lot of damage onto them as JDG have been forced out of position here for this particular fight. Will they be able to actually make it back in time teleport will be coming through though, so they could still fight the Stogies in the midst of it all, but it is going to be secured by KBG. It was Alistar who took it, but speaking of the Alistar, Yu is there. Oh my god, KBG just flashing into the middle of the fight. Juju almost down, but just a sliver of health left. He will not be burning down before he heals, and that is going to be once going down, taken out by his rival jungler, and now Baron is wide open.
Now we see one of the most unfortunate cases here on the side of JDG. Of all the champions, it's the Alistar of KBG that got the dragon. And now since they have taken some members here of JDG plus the dragon, and they push them back, it's a free Baron. Suddenly the tides again have shifted to KBG simply because they're more composed. We saw their positioning. Let's check that replay one more time, because again, this is a team that is hard to take down. JDG tried to contest, but using the package, it created, again, the hesitation of JDG to actually engage. And that allowed KBG to actually not only get the dragon, but also a kill. KBG dealt massive damage. This guy on a tank Garen is just insane. And now they're the ones taking control. Now they're the ones who have the goal lead, and they're starting to push.
Yeah, the Mega Inferno Bomb. Look at how much damage that did to Juju. Over 60% of his health because he was in the middle. That pushes them right off of this turret, gives it to KBG for free. And now KBG, they're just going to run rampant. Again, you give them an inch, they take a mile, and they're walking that mile in the shoes of JDG right now.
Now they're taking more than just a mile. They're taking full control of this game right now. No one can contest the push. You taking a bit of damage, but it's okay since the other lanes are being controlled well by the rest of KBG. Towers falling down, mid lane the only outer turret left that leaves the inhibitor towers. Arrow not connecting as well is again an avenue for KBG to work around within the map. KG, what?
Oh god, what? He just dove in, got the solo kill after getting the tower. I told you, KBG has this game. Even though they were behind, they were still the ones who were being very, very proactive, and that just means that they are going to get engaged on. But it is Yu. How are you going to engage on the cow? They're trying to get in even more, but he's just too tanky. Iron 9 and Shaman do too much damage. And now Elder Drake is up. It's being soloed right now, and KBG, the rest of their members, are just playing defense here. They're playing interception so that Datan can safely take this Elder Drake. But Iron 9 is going to get immediately shut out of the fight and taken down. But that is still the Elder Drake take. Even though they lost 2 members, it could still be it, because Datan, he does a lot of damage, and so does KG. That's 4 members in the blink of an eye, fade by the last man standing.
MIP? Oh no! He's dead!
Whoa!
From downtown, 4-3. 3 points indeed, with a fade away as Sani tries to defend. Nothing he can do. It's just KBG's game. Absolutely astounding performance at the side of Keepest Gaming. Now they're leading the series 2-0.
I have no words, Yang, for how impressive that was from KBG. They were behind, right? And they were being very defensive, and they were being